Hey, Shalom, Yahweh, Shem Yahushai, Barak Thumb, to all the brothers of Israel, Shalom, Yahweh, Shamor, and Lifted by Shem Yahushai, to all the sisters. This is the ISUPK, started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander John Yohanan. And this is the Tuesday Brotherhood class. You understand? So today's topic that we're going to be going over, first we're going to go into a little bit of the Day of Atonement, because today is the Day of Atonement. So it's only right, that we read about that, talk about it for a little bit. I hope some of y'all get an understanding of why we even have the Day of Atonement and we keep it. You understand? And then, as I had said last week, we would go into interracial marriages. You understand? So that is that's what we're getting into for today. That said, before we get into the class, I'm just going to ask that y'all do your part to like and share the class, so that we can spread this out to the four corners of the earth. You understand? There's going to be somebody that is on your friends list, your timeline, etc., that is, trying to change their life over for the better. As a black, so-called black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman, you understand? And quite frankly, for those said people, the only way that they can actually turn their lives around is by coming to following the law, statutes, and commandments. But you can only learn how to do that in the ISUPK under Commander John Yohanan. You understand? Give me a few moments to like and share it myself, and then we'll get into the topic. We'll get into the class that I have prepared for you guys today. You understand? Let's see. That's crazy. All right. This one. Hey, Shalom, the Christ, sir. It's good to see you. All right. Wait, hold on. It's like. All right, let me get to my notes, and then we'll get this going. We'll get this class going. All right. So where we're going to start off at is the book of Leviticus, chapter 16, verse 29. We're going to start there, going into the Day of Atonement. As that is what, as of sundown. So if you're in Las Vegas, at 1820 was sundown for us, which means we're now in a new day, which that day is biblically the Day of Atonement. That's as far as a holy day, or a day that is set apart from other days that the Lord had ordained to be set apart. You understand? All right. Let's see where 29. All right. So this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 16, and verse 29. And this shall be a statute forever unto you, that in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, ye shall afflict your souls, and do no work at all, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger that sojourneth among you. All right, so that's already setting it up. It's, to break this down, starting off with breaking this down. At the very beginning, it says, and this shall be a statute for you, or for forever unto you. So in other words, this should let you know that in the Christian church, they're not really teaching you the Bible. You understand? They're not actually teaching you what is inside the Bible, because if the Christian pastor was actually teaching what is written in the Bible, you would know what the Day of Atonement was. Damn near everybody would know what the Day of Atonement is in the first place. But you know what? I myself, I didn't know what the Day of Atonement was until I came into the ISUPK. You understand? I also didn't know that you were supposed to keep it and what all you were supposed to do to give recognition to, the Day of Atonement, right? And, so this is something, this Day of Atonement is something that we are to do forever. You understand? You're supposed to do it. You're supposed to teach your children to do it, their children, and thus forth. You understand? That in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, ye shall afflict your souls. So on this day, we are to afflict our souls. And what is one way that we're going to do that? Well, this day, we're going to go without bread and water. You understand? So from sundown today, which was at 1820 or 620, Las Vegas local time, right, until sundown tomorrow, Wednesday. I didn't look and see. Actually, let me look and see what time Sunday is. Sundown is tomorrow. Let's see. It's at 6:19 or 18:19 tomorrow evening. You understand? So until 18:19 or 6:19 tomorrow, you are not to drink any water. You're not to eat any food. And this is pertaining to those that are able to do so, mind you. You understand? If you've got some sort of medical issue, or your child, I believe, under the age of 12, they don't have to go through with no food, no water during this time period. If you're a woman that is pregnant or breastfeeding, you understand, you are basically, you will stand down from going without food and water. You understand? The brothers, those of us that are able to do it will be, basically afflicting our souls in your place for you. You understand? Moving on. And ye shall afflict your souls and do no work at all. So we're also, this is basically supposed to be a Sabbath. You understand? We're not supposed to do any work on this day. All right. We're supposed to be solely just focused on, afflicting our souls. Right. And do no work at all, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger that sojourneth among you. So you're not even, you're not to put anybody to work, and you're not to work yourself, right? Verse 30. For on that day shall the priest make an atonement for you to cleanse you, that ye may be clean from all your sins before the Lord. So on this day, the priests and the prophets, you understand, of the Most High God, is going to, as it says, shall make an atonement for you to cleanse you of your sins. So that's the point of this Day of Atonement, is, to basically cleanse ourselves of our sins. You understand? Verse 31, it shall be a Sabbath of rest unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls by a statute forever. So again, this day is to be a Sabbath. You understand? Hey, Lord Christ, young man, it's good to see you in the class. For some reason, I don't know if you know it, but it's you coming up as just Facebook Facebook user. What is it, young man DeMarcus from Louisiana? But it's good to see you in the class, though. I don't know if that's on our end or if that's on your end. I'm just giving you a heads up, right? Moving on. So again, this is supposed to be a Sabbath. We're supposed to just focus on this commandment that the Most High had given us, which is to afflict our souls to atone for our sins that we as a nation have committed throughout the year. You understand? And mind you, this is also something that we do yearly, forever. You understand? We are not to miss a year. We are not to miss a time, a day of atonement. As a, we're to take this day of atonement seriously. You understand? Because mind you, it's a statute. It is a commandment. The Most High God is commanding us to do so. You understand? And that's the most important thing to even understand and take from this, is that the Most High God commanded you to do it, so you are to do it. And it's as simple as that. You understand? And you are to do it to the letter of the word. You understand? Or else, quite frankly, you'll get dealt with. You understand? Moving on. Verse 32. And the priest whom ye shall anoint and whom ye shall consecrate to minister in the priest's office in his father's stead shall make the atonement and shall put on the linen clothes, even the holy garments. So there's going to be a priest that will be, anointed to basically to go through with the whole motions of the atonement for you and the people, right? In the nation, right? And he's going to put on, his priest-like garment, right? He's going to, the whole good threads, like, take, for example, if you were to check out everybody threads at the Passover, this past, that we had this past year in Florida, you understand? Them kind of garments that we was wearing then, like that's something that the priest would also wear for this Day of Atonement. You understand? Verse 33, and he shall make an atonement for the holy sanctuary, and he shall make an atonement for the tabernacle of the congregation and for the altar, and he shall make an atonement for the priests and for all the people of the congregation. So there's an atonement that he is going to make for everything, basically to give everything an entire clean slate all over again, from the people, the altar, the tabernacles, everything. You understand? To make it all clean again, right? Verse 34, and this shall be an everlasting statute unto you, to make an atonement for the children of Israel for their sins once a year. And he did as the Lord commanded Moses. You understand? So again, this is something that we are to do once a year, every year. All right, where we afflict our souls by not eating food from sundown to sundown, not drinking water from sundown to sundown, with the permitting, if you're able to, if you're able to do, if you're unable to, due to medical issues, your young age, or breastfeeding, or a pregnant woman, those are the exceptions. You understand? Aside from that, all blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women are to keep the Day of Atonement every year as commanded by the Most High God. We're to keep this day a Sabbath. It is a day of rest and just a day of you afflicting your souls. You understand? For you to make an atonement for all of your sins that you had committed throughout the year. And quite frankly, as a Black, Hispanic, First Nation men and women, with us being in the circumstance, the oppression that we are in here in America, in the position that we are in, we need this Day of Atonement. You understand? Because we are a lot of us are some unclean bastards. Now, that's not the brothers and sisters that are in the ISUPK. That's us as a whole. You understand? That is all of us as a whole, as an entire nation. And we do we do need to make an atonement for, you know, the wicked acts that we had partaken on throughout, you know, hell, up, like for me, for instance, up until I came into the ISUPK, man, I needed to make an atonement for, you know, all of those wicked acts that I was committing up until that, you know, up until that time. And of course, you know, up until, you know, I stopped doing those things in the first doggone place, which is the most important thing anyways, is for you to even stop doing it. You understand? It's like one way to also look at it is, you know, this Day of Atonement is somewhat similar to like what Yahushua had done for us. You understand? With him dying for us. He basically was trying to atone for our sins on some level. You understand? Because he died for our sins, right? He spilled his blood for our sins so that we would be able to get ourselves right. You understand? Now, you keeping the Day of Atonement is you doing your part to, for one, to repaying Christ for what he did for you, Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman, for you and you alone, Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman. You understand? That is one way that you are paying him back, is by keeping that law, by keeping this law. You understand? By, you know, afflicting your soul, because you are commanded to do so. When you are following the law, statutes, and commandments, you are paying Yahushua Mashiach back. That is your part in, you know, that is part of you paying him back. Now, you stay perfect in the law. Are you necessarily, you know, is your debt paid in full? No, because you know what? At the end of the day, it is he that endures. You have to endure to the end. So in other words, until the day you die, you are to keep these law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? I pray that you do. All right. So that's pretty much just, you know, like a quick little chapter to get into what, you know, what the Day of Atonement is, what we're to be doing. Right. Real simple. Nothing too crazy for the most part. Oh, damn it. What just happened? Give me 1 second. Salakia. My notes just tripped out on me. Salakia. Let me get this right. Right. Okay. Let me see. We might actually go to Numbers as well. No, kind of exactly. Okay, now we'll go ahead and drop that. We're gonna get into we'll get into the interracial marriages breakdown that I had spoken about last week. Before we get into that, if there's anybody that is online that has any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. I will answer your questions to the best of my ability scripturally. If I am unable to do so, I will bring your question to a mightier man than myself to get the answer for you. All right. So we'll either get your answer question either this, you know, Thursday with Officer 5000 Shabal, or the following class on Tuesday when I, Lord allow, I come back into to teach again. I'll start the class off with answering the questions. You understand? Let me get to where I was going to be. Also give y'all a little bit of time to post any questions that y'all may have. Okay. It doesn't look like anybody has any questions. No sweat. So where we're going to start off at is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 3, where we're going to go. So last week, we went into the topic with last week was we went over how the Most High God is racist. You understand? The Most High God is only about his people. You understand? And so much more, so much so, he's only about his people, that being the Israelites or the so-called Blacks, Hispanic, and First Nation men and women, that he doesn't even want us to be dealing with the other nations at all. You understand? And we're gonna also get into that as to why he doesn't want us dealing with them. And it's honestly, it's fairly simple. You can just look at what is going on today, especially with like interracial marriages, right? Where a black man will get with a white woman, and that white woman just takes everything from that man. And when I mean everything, like I don't mean just his material belongings, his money, because I mean she does, but they damn near take his dignity, his manhood, they'll drag your name through the mud. You understand? When that white woman is done fulfilling her lustful fetish that she has with being with the so-called Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman or man, she'll just drag your name through the mud. You understand? I mean, hell, one person that we should all take into consideration with interracial marriages is someone like Kanye West. Man, I'll keep it a stack with him, man. Stack with y'all. Like I feel bad for that brother. The things that woman had put him through. Like I remember he was on. They did a interview on some show. It was like a Netflix special, right? And it was both Kanye and Kim Kardashian, and they, obviously the interview was mostly for him. Dude was interviewing Kanye West, but it was like dude couldn't even speak for himself because Kim Kardashian was just like, oh no, just remember you got bipolar disorder, and just speaking for him, answering questions for him, and it was just like, man, like, can you just let this brother be a man? Like, let him speak for himself. You understand? Now, mind you, this is a self-made, successful brother. Like, girl, the only thing you did was just let somebody leave some sauces on your back and posted that on the interwebs. Like, you understand? That's the only reason why you famous, right? So, and that's just one example. Of course, there's many more that are out there. You could take, for example, that one white boy that played for, I believe, the Seattle Seahawks, who was with that was dating that sister and beat the dog piss out of her. That wicked devil beat the dog piss out of her and just, beat her to like an inch of her life. And then the report says after he did that, and she's like fighting to breathe and whatnot, all bruised up, bleeding, he just went and sat down and, started eating his smoothie, drinking his smoothie. And then while he's doing it, just talking her down, telling her how much of a piece of shit she is, how she's just meaningless. When that's honestly how all of these devils feel about you, Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman. You understand? The sooner that we all understand that that's how all these oppressors, that's how all these other nations view us, that we don't mean anything to them except for the fact that, hell, we're the one who brings life onto this earth. Let's be honest. We are the salt of the earth. So aside from the fact that they make money off of us, we don't mean nothing to them. You understand? The only value that we have to them is the fact that we make them money. That's it. Other than that, they hate you. You make them money and you're a fetish to these so-called white men, to these so-called Africans, to these so-called Asians. You understand? You are just a fetish to them and a way for them to make money. That's it. All right. So let's get into that. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. So neither of our sons or daughters should be marrying into the other nations. You understand? This is something that the Most High God is against. Is you, Black, Hispanic, First Nation man, marrying a white woman? Why you want to be with a dog anyways? It's like, or you being with an African? Why you want to be with an African booty scratcher? Anyways, they sit there and stick their heads up cows' asses and take cow piss showers. And then they goddamn, they best friend of a pet, be sitting there flying onto their eyeball because they love all the flies. You want to live in a house filled with flies? Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to bring them with them. They're going to bring them with them. Like, oh yeah, this is Skeeter. We got a little, a house fly on a freaking, tied up on a leash with some floss. You understand? Like that's what you want. Or why? He also doesn't want us, laying with Asian women as well. You want to be with an Asian woman? Why? Man, I'm sorry, but them doggone people, they funky. Let's be honest. They funky just like the Africans as well. All of them is funky, Salaki. They all need, tips and help on how to wash their ass in the first place and their feet. Salaki. I got a weird thing about feet, man. But not even I don't like feet, that's what I mean. But anyways, you understand? Them Asian folk, man, they gonna sit there and eat everything. You try to have your own little dog, Fido. Today she petting Fido, feeding him all sorts of good food, and then all of a sudden tomorrow, where Fido at? But you got a big ass feast in the middle of the table. Where Fido at? And Fido in your stomach, man. He on that plate. He on that fork that you just put to your mouth. She'll bamboozle your ass, have you eating your own doggone dog. You understand? Then she gonna end up eating something that now she just brought about another plague onto the earth because she's eating shit she's not supposed to be eating. So like she's eating food that she ain't supposed to be eating. She's eating animals that are not to be eaten. You understand? That's why would you want to be with that? You understand? Especially when Black, Hispanic, and First Nation women are the best women anyways on the face of the earth. Let's be honest. All of those other women are trying to be like our women anyways. You just want the knockoff version? Your ass sure as hell get some goddamn Jordans. Make sure that they are the real Jordans. But you'll get the knockoff version of your woman. Make that make sense. Like it don't make sense to me. Like right? Verse 4, for they will turn away thy son from following me. So just like what I was talking about, right? You're going to end up, having, things that go against your normal custom, which is as a Black, Hispanic, First Nation man or woman, your custom is what is written in this Bible. You understand? When you deal with these people that are from another nation, they will have you turning to their ways. Because what is them white marriage counselor therapists? What is one of their biggest things that they that they'll push for marriage counseling? Oh, well, marriage is about compromise. I have you believing that compromise is one of the best tools to a successful marriage. Okay, so now that African booty scratcher going to have you compromising a God, the one and only living God, right? You're going to compromise, what that God, what the God, the Most High God had commanded you to do to serve, their little disgusting, fake gods in the first place. Where now you're going to be taking cow piss showers. Now you're going to be putting your head in cows' asses. I'm actually curious why they even do that in the first. I'm kind of curious. I really don't even care to know, to be honest, at the same time. But I'm kind of curious. What is the significance of putting your head up that cow's ass? I do not get that. It's a lot. If anybody knows why they do that, please put that in the chat. I kind of do want to know, actually. The more I talk about it and think about it, like, what is the purpose of that? What do they get out of it? Like, where did that custom even come from? Aside from the fact that, that cow's ass probably smells better than the way that they smell, so they're trying to alleviate themselves of their own smell. I don't know. Probably the only thing that's the only thing that makes sense to me at the moment, right? But anyways, right? For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. Now, what is one of the, what everybody always claims, the 10 commandments? One of the biggest commandments is that we are not to serve other gods. We are not to have other gods. There is none but one, and that is Yahweh. You understand? That it is the Most High God, Yahweh. You understand? In the Hebrew, right? That they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy these suddenly? So he's also letting you know that, man, if you go and serve these other gods, you're going to piss me off, right? So if you allow your children or you yourself go about your own way to go and be with these other women, these other nations, these men and women from other nations, they're going to turn you against the Most High God, which is, that's what's going on with majority of Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women anyways here, all in the four corners of the earth. Unless you're in the ISUPK, you're serving other gods. Why do you think we're in the condition that we are in right now? Because the Lord he is pissed with the fact that here we are, after all of the great many things that the Most High God has done for us, but yet we're serving their gods when they have done nothing for us. You understand? And mind you as well, they're not even real. They got a little fat Buddha. Y'all know that Buddha actually wasn't even fat. Buddha was skinny. So that little fat Buddha statue that they have, I mean, who is that really? First of all, then mind you, it's just a stupid statue. They say that you're supposed to rub his belly or whatever, you get good luck. You're giving life and power to some stupid piece of plastic, metal, or whatever the hell that it's made out of. In other words, that is not a living God. That is not a God in the first place. You understand? That's what they got you doing. Got the little stupid high-fiving cat. I think like you high-five it or give it money or something like that. That gives you good luck with your finances or whatever. You understand? Or, you going into Hinduism. You understand? You want to know something about Hinduism? I don't know what everybody's thing is about these doggone cows. But in India, did y'all know that if a cow decides to walk into your house, it is illegal for you to push it out. That cow has more rights to your house than you do. And you know what they do when that cow, relieves himself or relieves itself, we should say, because either or. When they relieve themselves in your house, in their houses, takes a dump in their house. You know what they do? They take that cow manure and make a tea out of it. These are the gods and ways that you want to go and serve. You want to take on that custom where you're drinking cow shit tea? Oh, man, I guess, man, y'all, that compromise, whew, that is one hell of a compromise, Salakia. Then let's not also forget, you're compromising to make her happy just so that you can be destroyed. It says right here, and destroy thee suddenly. You understand? Because now you're going to be caught up in that fake God, BS, serving them, their fake gods, and it's going to destroy you. Where you're going to be just saying and believing and doing all sorts of just wickedness and nonsense. For example, eating or drinking cow shit tea. You can't tell me that you are not a destroyed person, and you're drinking cow manure tea. You think a person that is put together, built up, has high stature is going to drink cow doo-doo in his tea? I pray that you understand. I pray that you understand. That's wild. Verse 5. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. Right? Verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So the Most High God is saying that you are above all these other people. You are above these people of different nations. So in other words, why are you stooping down to be with them? I understand that our people, blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women, we're so destroyed now that we think that if we get with a white girl, that we are on the come up. You understand? We made it in life, man. I got me a white girl, especially if she got money, man. I made it. I'm in there. But you know what? In reality, in God's eye, you just stooped down. You understand? That white girl didn't stoop down. You did. You stooped down to be with that dog. I pray that y'all understand, Black, Hispanic, First Nation men and women. I pray that y'all can understand that. All right. We're going to drop that. If there's no questions, we're going to drop that. And then we're going to go to the book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 12. The book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 12. All right. But beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. Now let's read that from the top and break it down, right? Beware of all whoredom. So whoredom isn't just a woman who puts out for everyone. You understand? You as a man can also be a whore. You understand? You know how you can be a whore? With you jumping around with different spiritual beliefs, serving all these other gods. You understand? Because I mean, hell, when you worship the Most High God compares his relationship with himself and Israel, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women. He compares it unto a marriage, and also says that as a nation we played the harlot, we played the whore because we married other gods. We decided to serve those other gods. You understand? So we need to be aware of all manners of whoredom, right? My son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers. So so this is Tobit talking to his son, saying, man, hey, listen, make that man, be a man and make that man decision and take a woman of your tribe, of an Israelite woman. You understand? And take not a strange woman to wife. So don't take a woman from a different nation. Don't do that to yourself. Don't be that. Don't end up putting yourself into a situation where you become a whore. You understand? Which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So this is totally. Hey, listen. Know who you are. Know who you descended from. You understand? That being Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married a sluggard. remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred. Just saying, man, remember our forefathers from the very beginning, that they married, they married and took women that were, of our people. They were black, so-called blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women. You understand? And were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. You understand? And so because they married who, they were supposed to, they followed the way that was, they followed the commandment that the Lord had given them. And because of that, their seed is blessed. They were blessed with children, and those children are to inherit the land. You understand? We are those children, mind you, and we are going to inherit the earth. You understand? When Christ returns, this earth will be ours. It will belong to blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. So says the prophecy of the Bible. You understand? So says the Lord. You understand? All right. Let's read verse 13. Now, therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. So it is also a brotherly thing for you to do, to take a woman, to prefer your own women over the women of other nations. You understand? It is a sisterly thing to do, to simply prefer your own, the men of your own nation over the men of other nations. You understand? For in pride is destruction and much trouble. In pride, Salaki, where am I at? I just lost my place. Salaki, y'all. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine. You understand? So like I gotta sneeze, man. I hate when this happens. So it's saying, man, you taking pride. What does it say exactly? For in pride is destruction and much trouble. So you having pride, thinking that you are better than your own people, that you decide to get with, them Asians or them African booty scratchers or them, them white dogs, man, that type of pride is going to get you in trouble, and it's going to destroy you. You understand? It's going to be your own destruction. Look at Kanye West. You understand? Look at that sister that we just spoke about, who was with that Seattle Seahawks offensive lineman that got just beaten to an inch of her life. You understand? That is that's destruction. That is that great trouble. I mean, hell, you can literally look at Emmett Till, even though that Emmett Till wasn't messing with white women. He was just a little boy, and just because he was even accused at catcalling or whistling at that white devil, that he got dealt with because of that. You understand? Don't think that spirit that was on them white men at that time, where they did what they did to Emmett Till, beating him to death like that, don't think that spirit has diminished, has gone away, because now we're in 2022. Man, if you believe that it's gone, you are asleep. You are dumb. Salaki. I'm not even going to say that you ignorant. You dumb, because you are choosing not to see and acknowledge that they're still killing us, and those police are still killing us in the doggone streets. They're still beating us. You understand? They are still going out of their way to kill and destroy us and to put us in trouble, like the scripture says. You understand? All right. Now we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 23. The book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 23. Slovakia. 13. All right, it's a 13, yeah, chapter 13, verse 23. Book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 23, Slovakia. I think I said 33 at first. All right. This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. Verse 24. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. You understand? Where am I going to? 27. So this right here is already letting you know that not only from what we read in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3 and 4, that dealing with the sons and daughters of other nations, not only is it going to turn you to serve their gods, right? But also it's going to cause your children to forget their, their language, the holy tongue, the Lashawan Kadash. You understand? Our holy tongue, the Hebrew. You understand? It causes us to forget our language. But mind you, how many Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women do you know that actually speaks Hebrew? It didn't take very long for us to forget it. It didn't take too many generations for us to forget it. Mind you, the so-called white man, they forbade us from even talking, to each other in our tongue. You understand? And now it's complete. I ain't gonna say completely forgotten, because obviously, you got mighty brothers, that are teaching the Lashawan Kodash in the first place. Teaching, brothers and sisters, our language all over again, how to read and write, in the Lashawan Kodash. You understand? Also to speak. You understand? But that's what comes out of being with these other nations. And for those of y'all that were curious who Ammon and Moab is, Ammon is the so-called Japanese today, and Moab is the so-called Chinese today. You understand? That's who they are, right? And I'm not even gonna flex. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm going to ask about who Ashdod is. I'm not sure which nation that is off the top of my head at the moment. Right? All right. Verse 25. And I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them and plucked off their hair and made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Now Nehemiah was hot. You understand? Nehemiah basically, he started putting hands on them, cussing them out. Man, like, what the hell is wrong with you? Matter of fact, get yourself right. Because now your goddamn kid, man, your kids are forgetting our language because you wanted to be with this Asian woman. You wanted to be with this African man. You wanted to be with this white man or woman. You understand? Now we're losing our culture. We're losing our ways. We're losing even our language because of your lust for these other nations. You understand? They're turning you against your own. You understand? Verse 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? You understand? Solomon didn't. First of all, Solomon didn't sin because he had more than one woman. The way that he sinned is because he was marrying these heathen nations. And mind you, this is the wisest man to ever live until Christ. You understand? King Solomon the wisest man to ever have lived was still persuaded to serve other gods, even after, what God did for him. The Most High God had did for him, with giving him that wisdom, with giving him that money, giving him the kingdom. You understand? With giving him all of those things, rulership. You understand? Even King Solomon fell into the ways where, he was building temples and altars and burning sage and moon charging his crystals because that's what his wives wanted. You understand? That was part of that was part of them serving God, their gods. So he partook in it as well, and that caused it. It was that was what was his sin. You understand? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. So again, even with having all that women, you will never be strong enough and wise enough to be able to be better than, you get with a heathen woman, you're not going to be strong and wise enough to keep from sinning by serving her gods. You know why? Because with this verse, it's like I had just said. First of all, there's no man that was ever like him. And the Most High God loved him. You understand? The Lord was with him, was on his side, but he chose to make those decisions and essentially sin. You understand? Verse 27. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our God in marrying strange wives? Man, you need to think about that. Are we supposed to, transgress the Lord? Should we go out of our way to feed into our lust, to make it look like we made it, to go be with that, that white dog named Becky? You understand? It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. And the Lord is against it. We've read numerous times now that this is a sin for us to take a strange woman, to take a woman of another nation. Black men, Black, Hispanic, First Nation men and women, we are to stick to ourselves. We need to learn to only prefer ourselves, to prefer ourselves over the other nations. You understand? We should always feel that way. And because you know what? We're better than them anyways. They're women doing all them lip injections, getting their bodies done and this, that, and the other, stealing our dances. They're doing all these things to imitate our women. Why are you going for the knockoff? She, that goddamn devil Becky, she had to spend $25,000 just so that she can look like the sister that you live next door to, who wants you anyways, who wants your love anyways. Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman, First Nation man, they want your love anyways, but you want to take the overly expensive knockoff imitation, which in turn you rather sin than serve the Most High God. That's what that really comes down to. All right. Now we're gonna drop that. We're gonna go to the book of Ezra, chapter 9, and verse 1. Book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 1. All right. This is the book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 1. Now, when these things were done, the princes came to me, saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the land, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites. Salakia, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Salakia, give me 1 second. Hey, it's likely, y'all. All right. What was we at? All right. So picking up Book of Ezra, chapter 9. First one, we're going to read that from the top. Now, when these things were done, the princes came to me, saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands. So right here is saying that, we're living with these other people and their lands, and we're not separating ourselves. We're not being holy. We are being like them. We're acting like them, which also includes, us marrying their daughters and their sons. You understand? Doing according to their abominations. So, doing their works, doing their customs. You understand? Even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites. Verse 2, for they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers hath been chief in this trespass. So this lets you know that, it's again, another verse talking about how we shouldn't be having any type of interracial marriages. God is not about us having interracial marriages. You understand? God wanted us to be separate. You understand? He didn't want us doing it, everything that they were doing, us laying with their sons and daughters. You understand? And one thing that you can take from that as well is the fact this lets you know that God really didn't love everybody. You understand? God doesn't love everybody. Because if that were the case, then it would be okay to be, to marry their daughters if you think about it, because he loves them too. But in reality, he doesn't. He wants us to only marry and join to those that he does love, that he does care for. You understand? And that's the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women. You understand? And of course, this says this is a trespass. It's a trespass to take these other, these sons, the sons and daughters of the other nations. It's a sin. It is a sin. You understand? Verse 3. And when I heard this thing, I rent my garment and my mantle, and plucked off the hair of my head and of my beard, and sat down astonished. It's likely. I might have clicked on phonics description. Just ended. I'm having a hard time reading this word. All right, but the point is, brother is upset. You understand? When the Israelites would rip their garments and rent their garments and pull the hair from the beard or whatnot, that was a sign for mourning. You understand? Because he was upset that our people were doing that. We're doing that. We're choosing the ways of the other nations. You understand? That is upsetting. It should upset you that your people choose and prefer the other nations over their own. That this brother that you grew up with, right, went through all sorts of hell growing up in the projects, whatever, escape gangs and drugs and this, that, and the other, just for him to end up being, preferring white women and hanging around just white people, period. Y'all went through all of that just for him to, prefer, the people that put y'all in that circumstance in the first place over you, when, hell, y'all went through it together and y'all the same people. You understand? I pray that you do. Like, you got to put it in that perspective and keep that template with all of your people. Like, because you know what? All Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women, man, we all going through the same oppression together. So because of that, you should take that into consideration to prefer your own that much more, because you know what? That Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman, they're going through the same struggle that you're going through. So you should prefer them over the ones that are oppressing the both of y'all anyways. You understand? We're going to drop down to verse 11, right? Verse 11. Yeah, verse 11. Which thou hast commanded by thy servants, the prophets, saying, the land unto which ye go to possess it is an unclean land with the filthiness of the people of the lands, with their abominations, which have filled it from one end to another with their uncleanness. You know, where they're sitting there sacrificing and eating all sorts of all sorts of animals. You know, mind you, Chinese like to eat bat, cat, dog. You understand? They love some pork. Them damn bastards will put anything and everything. If it is a living thing, they will eat it. You understand? You know, I believe it's in Japan. They have this program that when you're like 18 or whatever, you can basically sell your corpse to be eaten. You know that? They got this whole contract thing that you can jot up. So, you know, basically your food, your food, your room and board, the whole shebang, your life is paid for. Just the catch is you're not allowed to do drugs. You understand? There's a diet that they provide for you, so you're not allowed to eat like, certain foods and whatnot. They're really clean foods to keep your body nice and clean and whatnot in pristine shape, so that when you die, in which I believe, if I remember correctly, they kill you at a certain point. I think it's like they let you, you go through that program for about like 10, 15, 20 years, something like that. It might not even be that long. But once the time is up, then they kill you and they eat you. You are to be eaten. I don't remember if it was the Chinese or the Japanese. I think it might be the Japanese who do that. But yeah, like that's wicked. That is disgusting. They're sitting there eating people, right? Cannibalism, man. And the crazy thing is our goofy asses, Blacks, Hispanics, First Nation men and women, our goofy asses are going over there, and partaking in defiling the land, period, alongside with them. You understand? Verse 12. Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace of their wealth forever, that ye may be strong, and eat the good of the land, and leave it for an inheritance to your children forever. You understand? Like we're not to do any of the things that these other nations do. You understand? We are to the most our relationship should be with these other nations. It should not get past a business professional relationship where it's okay to conduct trade and commerce with them. Hell, some of us have to work out of slavery with them. There's nothing wrong with that. But past that, man, your relationship with them should be nothing but that. That's it. You understand? Or else, hell, they're going to have you trying out what human toes taste like. They tell you it's chicken nuggets, and your ass eating, little girl toes. You understand? All right. All right, let's drop that. We're going to go to the book, same book, going to chapter 10, verse 2. So the book of Ezra, chapter 10, verse 2. All right. The book of Ezra, chapter 10, verse 2. And Shechaniah, the son of Jehiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, we have trespassed against our God. and have taken strange wives of the people of the land. Yet now there is hope in Israel concerning this thing. Right? Do I go to verse 5? Okay. Verse 3. Now, therefore, let us make a covenant with our God to put away all of the wives and such as are born of them, according to the counsel of my Lord, and of those that tremble at the commandment of our God, and let it be done according to the law. So I mean, man, they went the extra step. They put away their heathen wives and went the extra step and also put away the damn children that they had with those wives. You understand? Verse 4. Arise, for this better belongeth, arise, for this matter belongeth unto thee. We also will be with thee. Be of good courage and do it. Verse 5. Then arose Ezra and made the chief priests, the Levites, and all Israel to swear that they should do according to this word, and they swear. So man, they went ahead, they went and carried that out, put away their heathen wives and the children that they had with them. You understand? Drop down to verse 10. And Ezra the priest stood up and said unto them, Ye have transgressed and have taken strange wives to increase the trespass of Israel. Verse 11. Now therefore make confession unto the Lord God of your fathers, and do his pleasure, and separate yourselves from the people of the land and from the strange wives. You understand? Again, man, Ezra was stressing that, hey, you need to separate from these doggone people. You understand? Quit dealing with them. All right? Let's see. And then we'll drop down to verse 19. And they gave their hands that they would put away their wives, being guilty. They offered a ram of the flock for their trespass. Now, mind you, they also went ahead and made an atonement for the fact that they had taken strange wives. Now, you make an atonement for when you do something wrong, or you trespass, or you sin. So again, taking heathen women, heathen husbands is a sin. According to the Bible, not what Pastor Porkchop says, because he don't even really read the Bible anyways. You understand? According to the Bible, it is a sin for you, Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman, for you to marry anybody outside of so-called Black, Hispanic, First Nation men and women. You understand? It is a sin. You will turn the Most High God, to wrath by you laying with strange men and women. All right. Now we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Judges, chapter 3 and verse 6. The book of Judges, chapter 3 and verse 6. Right. And it's because we are, our brothers and sisters in the world, man, they out there, laying with these heathen nations, with strange women, with strange men, of other nations, that we have to have the Day of Atonement. All right. But mind you, in the ISUPK, we're not sinning. So by us still holding the Day of Atonement, we are holding the Day of Atonement for those who aren't doing it. You understand? Like I said, for those that have a medical condition, mothers that are breastfeeding or are pregnant, the children under I believe, I don't know if it's 12 years old or 10 years old and under. You understand? And of course, the brothers that are in the world that don't even know what the hell the Day of Atonement is. You understand? We are afflicting ourselves for them as well. You understand? All right. The book of Judges, chapter 3, verse 6. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods. You understand? So that's what happens when we end up taking their sons and daughters. You understand? You end up serving their gods. Because you know what? In reality, they can't serve our God. If you are not a Black, Hispanic, First Nation man or woman, you cannot serve the God of the Bible. All right? Yeah, sure. You can serve that. You know, anybody can serve that white Christian God. You understand? That's, you know, Caesar Borgia. Y'all are able to, anybody can go serve him. You know, I believe Christianity is the leading religion right now in the world with like 4 billion people or something like that, right? Anybody and everybody is able to serve the Christian white God, that white gay Jesus. You understand? Anybody can serve him, but the actual God, the real God of the Bible, the nigga God, the God by the Yahweh, only the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women can serve the God of the Bible, the nigga God. You understand? Only we can serve this God. So there is no trying to get them to serve our God, because they can't even come into the congregation in the first place. They can't come to Passover. They can't come to our feast days, our high holy days. You understand? So that in itself, they can't serve God. But you can serve their gods. And by doing so, you turn the one and only true and living God to wrath. You understand? That's why we're not to marry them. Again, can't stress that enough. Even though we're reading it over and over and over again in the Bible. The Bible. God's words. You understand? We're reading it time and time again. We're not to do this, man. It is a sin. It is forbidden. You are not to lay with these heathen nations. You understand? Verse 7, right? Yeah. Verse 7. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. So by you laying with these heathen women, these heathen men, in the sight of the Lord, that is evil. You are an evil, wicked bastard if you lay with these heathen nations. You understand? And forget the Lord their God and serve Baalim and the groves. You understand, man? In the midst of you serving their God, man, you forgot your own. The one that delivered you, Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman, out of Egypt, and will deliver us out of the hands of of America, the new Egypt. So technically, a second time. You understand? Forgot? How could you forget that God? You're too in love with your lusts. That's how. Verse 8. Therefore, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. Man, these things piss the Most High God off. Right? Now, mind you as well, listen to what they just said. Therefore, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. If you can't see just from that one little line that Black people wrote this Bible, then you don't know Black people. Because you know what? At the end of the day, when do you ever hear a white boy, talk about, or white people, Africans, Asians talk about, man, I'm hot right now. Dude just pissed me the hell off. I'm hot. Like, wait, you say that to Trevor, they're like, oh, you have a fever? It's 60 degrees outside. You got a fever? You want to take your sweater off? What do you mean you're hot? Man, niggas know what I'm saying when I say, man, I'm hot. F this, F that, man, I'm hot. F it. You understand? You know what I'm saying. I'm mad. It's crazy because that's how we talk in the Bible as well. We've always talked that way. You understand? Just wanted to point that out as well. To let you know that, hey, the people who talk like that, where it came from, is Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. You understand? Therefore, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of of Chushan-Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, and the children of Israel served Chushan-Rishathaim 8 years. So because we serve other gods, you go into slavery. Why do you think that blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women were put into slavery during the Atlantic slave trade? Because we were serving other gods. This is your punishment for serving other gods, for doing the ways of the other nations. This is your punishment. Forgetting that the Most High God is the one and only God, and also the one that delivered you out of Egypt, the one who, hell, is with you. You forget him, and he will punish you. Because you know what? He is a good parent. He is a good father. And it is righteous. It is a righteous thing to punish you when you have done something wrong. You understand? Verse just the 8. Okay. Now we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 1. Book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verse 1. All right. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women. Starting off a little rough right there. You understand? For those of y'all that's been paying attention, that actually know the Bible, that actually know God, something bad's about to happen, right? The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. Verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. You understand? First of all, Most High God said, do not deal with these women. And this is why. And yet, Solomon ended up doing it anyways. Because Solomon, at the end of the day, Solomon was more in love with his lust. You understand? Just like you, that love white women, that love Asian women, that love African women, and men. You too in love with your lusts. You understand? Verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. So the issue wasn't that he had 700 wives and basically 1,000 doggone wives. That wasn't the issue. The issue is that he was serving all of their gods. You understand? With all that wisdom couldn't protect him from, the will of a woman, from that woman's will to turn you against your God. And you know what comes out of that? Your name gets drugged through the mud. You understand? King Solomon's name got drugged through the mud because of that. Think about it, right? All right. Drop that. And we're going to go to the book of 1 Esdras, chapter 8 and verse 69. 1 Esdras, chapter 8 and verse 69. All right. This is the book of 1 Esdras, chapter 8, verse 69. The nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and Levites, have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor the pollutions of the Gentiles, to wit, of the Canaanites, Hittite, Perizzites, Jebusites, and the Moabites, Egyptians, and Edomites. See, again, man, the Edomites, man, they keep coming up, man. We love some doggone white girl, man. It's terrible. It's terrible. Right? Verse 70. For both they and their sons have married with their daughters, and the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land. And from the beginning of this matter, the rulers and the great men have been partakers of this inequity. You mixing your seed into these, these heathen women are allowing these heathen men to put their seed inside of you, Black, Hispanic, First Nation women, men and women. You are partaking in an inequity. You understand? You are sinning. And of course, I'm repeating this over and over again because you see on the TV over and over again. You get taught in school over and over again that black and white is okay. And in the ISUPK, we're going to brainwash that out of you. They try to say that being brainwashed is a bad thing, but when has washing anything on you been bad? To be clean, I'm brainwashed. My brain is clean, is cleansed of all that, that nasty filth of laying down with, wanting white women or Asian women or African women. You understand? I only deal with my women. You understand? With the women of my forefathers, so-called Black, Hispanic, and First Nation women. You understand? Those are the only ones I deal with. You understand? All right, drop that. Now we're going to go to First Esdras chapter 9 and verse 7. All right. This is the book of First Esdras chapter 9, verse 7. So Esdras arose up and said unto them, Ye have transgressed the law in marrying strange wives, thereby to increase the sins of Israel. You increase the sins of Israel by laying down with heathen women. Which is also why, part of the reason why we have the Day of Atonement. We got to atone for that. We have to afflict our souls because the sins of the nation of Israel have continuously increased because our brothers can't stop dealing with them white women. Our sisters can't stop dealing with them damn white boys. You understand? Verse 8. And now, by confessing, give glory unto the Lord God of our fathers, and do his will, and separate yourselves from the heathen of the land, and from the strange women. So separate yourselves from these things. Glorify the Most High God by making yourself separate again. You understand? Do not partake in the ways of this land. Do not partake in the ways of the people who inhabit this land. And put away those, the strange women. Be done with them. You understand? Verse 10. Then cried the whole multitude and said with a loud voice, like as thou hast spoken, so will we do. Now, mind you, this is an on and off ongoing occurrence throughout the Bible, which lets you know that history does repeat itself, right? And the fact that we're in the midst of dealing with, wanting to take on heathen women and lay with them and whatnot. What do y'all think is coming next? Especially considering the fact that the priests and prophets under Commander Johnny Hanna and the ISUPK are teaching our people, telling you to stop dealing with these heathen nations. These heathen nations. What do y'all think is going to, be soon to follow? Based off of what we've already been reading. Eventually, we're going to stop. You understand? We will stop. But quit postponing it. You understand? Quit postponing it, because if you postpone it for too long, then that white bitch is going to end up getting you killed. Taking everything away from you, straight destroying you. You understand? Quit laying down with them heathen women, man. And hell, quit laying down with them heathen men. You understand? Hey, shalom on Christ, sis. It's good to see you. Good to see you in the class. All right. And we're going to drop that. Now we're going to go to the book of Numbers, chapter 25, verse 6. The book of Numbers, chapter 25, verse 6. All right. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 25, verse 6. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. Dealing with these other women, these strange women, these strange men, these men and women from the other nations, man, plagues will come our way because of it. You understand? Here, a little fun fact for you, right? For those of y'all that don't know, gonorrhea came from the so-called white man coming over on the Mayflower and whatnot. You know where the gonorrhea came from? Because they were having sex with sheep. There was no such thing as gonorrhea in North America. The Gadites, or the so-called First Nation men and women, they didn't have STDs, particularly being gonorrhea. You know how gonorrhea got into our people? Because they started, for one, we started preferring them over our own. And of course, we're not going to forget the fact that they were raping our men, our men and women, quite frankly, the men as well, but mostly the women. You understand? They were raping our people, passing that gonorrhea around. That gonorrhea, that's considered a plague. You understand? I pray that y'all understand. These diseases, these STDs, come from these other nations putting their rod inside of anything and everything. They contract the disease from it, and then you want to go and lay with them. And now in the so-called Negro, so-called Hispanic, so-called First Nation communities, now we have those STDs circling around because you wanted to lay with that dog named Becky. You understand? You wanted to lay with her. Salakia, sir, does that mean that men and women who are married to the heathens today are to put them away? La, no. You are not to put them away today. Now, so just to kind of paraphrase it, right? I know it's in the New Testament. I can't remember exactly where it's at, but the scripture says, scripture starts to go in to say that, if they be pleased to dwell with you, just let them. Because mind you, Christ did away with divorce. You understand? When Christ came on scene, he put that bill of divorcement opportunity. He put that, he abolished that. We're never supposed to have the ability to divorce in the first place. You understand? So, if you're a man and you got yourself a heathen woman, man, stay with that woman. The thing is she will separate herself from you. All right? She will separate herself from you because it's going to vex her spirit that you begin to love yourself again as, Black, Hispanic, First Nation man. The fact that you begin to love yourself and then love your own people over her will drive her, will vex her spirit. It will drive her nuts. You understand? And it's the same thing for you sisters. If you belong to a heathen man, it'll be the same exact thing. He will leave you. He will put you away. You understand? Now, of course, for the men, while you with that, that heathen woman, if you already have one, go ahead and go get you a sister, bro. Have you 2-3 of them sisters. let that white girl leave you. So be it. I'm not even gonna say Lord be with you. Shit. So like, I need your ass at my plantation anyway. Lord be with that. You understand? But as far as the women, what I'll say to you is, if you are in a situation where you are married to a heathen man, seek counsel. Reach out to your respective camp leader and ask for counsel on how to deal with that matter. All in all, you are to stay with him, right? But if he actually goes through the process of putting you away, that's when you really need to, step up with reaching out for counsel, so that you don't end up doing anything to make yourself a whore or offending the law. You understand? Where now there's blood on your hands. You understand? Because now you become an adulteress. You understand? So with that, I would make sure that you seek counsel on that if you're a sister in that type of situation, right? So, but yeah, to answer the sister's question, no, you are not to put them away, because one of the biggest things that you have to keep in mind is Christ did away with the bill of divorcement period. We can't even divorce our own people. You understand? And mind you, with that, we were never supposed to have a bill of divorcement anyways. Moses took on that burden, basically took on that blood to put on his hands, because the men and women of Israel at that time, our hearts were so hardened, towards each other, that he was just like, man, just do this and just be done with it. Like, y'all being ridiculous. You understand? And with that put a burden on him. You understand? He has to he would have to what's the word? Answer to that, because he allowed that as the leader of Israel at that time. You understand? So yeah. I am the bar. Since if you got more questions, you need more clarification, just go ahead and post that in the chat, and I'll answer it. You understand? But yeah, so like you just see in verse 8, man, they killed that man and woman, so that they can stop spreading. There would be no spreading of plague now. All right. Verse. Select it. We're going to drop that now, and we're going to go to the book of Joshua, chapter 23, verse 11. The book of Joshua, chapter 23, and verse 11. 23. All right. And again, if there's anybody that is online that has any questions, anybody else online that has any other questions, feel free to post in the chat. We got just a couple more verses, just a couple more scriptures that I'm going to bring out, including this one. We only got 3 more to go, and then, we'll be done for the day with the class. So, take advantage of, the classroom setting to ask your questions. You understand? Also, understand that we encourage all questions. We are not the Christian church. We encourage y'all to ask these types of questions. That is literally what, as a priest and prophet of the Lord, I had signed up for, is to edify my people. You understand? And part of edification is taking in the questions that, somebody may have. You understand? And also keep in mind, don't never be afraid to ask your questions, because we all know that for those of y'all that actually, are consistent with watching these, the ISUPK classes, and if you, pay attention to the chat and whatnot, there's sometimes that, a question will get asked more than once by several different people. You know what I'm saying? Point being is that you may have a question that somebody else has. You understand? So don't deprive anybody of receiving that type of edification. Or you might even ask a question that nobody even thought about, that, that still needs to be addressed and taught. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So this is the book of Joshua, chapter 23, and verse 11. Take good heed, therefore, unto yourselves, that ye love the Lord your God. Verse 12. Else, if ye do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you. Verse 13. Know for a certainty that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your sides, and thorns in your eyes, until ye perish from off this good land which the Lord your God hath given you. You understand? So this is letting you know, man, like the Lord, the Most High God is only going to, put forth effort to bail you out only so many times. And this goes with all things, right? But right here, the subject is, man, if you keep on going into them damn nations, after he just did it for the umpteenth millionth time to deliver you from these other nations, and you keep going back into where you just gotta stick your rod in there, or as a woman, you gotta get some of their rod, right? Y'all keep on doing this. This is the last time I'm bailing y'all out. You go back to it, I'm going to let them destroy you. You understand? The Most High God said, man, I'm just going to let them destroy you. I'm going to let them, they're going to be snares and traps. All right? So they'll be there. I'm not going to just kill them off. I'll let them be a snare and trap. And if you want to get ensnared by it so that you take yourself into destruction, you can't be mad at nobody, nothing but yourself, because you chose to have this be done unto you. You understand? You decided to go through the repercussions of dealing with the so-called white woman, and I mean, she's done with her little fetish toy. So now it's time for her to just drag you through the mud in any and every way possible, and white man namely possible. Y'all get what? I pray that y'all understand. I pray you understand it. All right. Was that it? Just the verse 13? Yeah. All right. And then now we're going to go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, verse 18. The book of Proverbs, chapter 5, verse 18. For those of y'all that may just be tuning in, make sure that you like and share this class. Also, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube page, ISUPK Nevada, and then also go like our Facebook page, ISUPK Las Vegas. You understand? Do your part to spread this truth, this word to the four corners of the earth. You understand? There is a so-called Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman out there that is looking to change their lives around for the better. You understand? You liking and sharing and helping this, these classes, and not just the classes that I'm teaching, but anything that has ISUPK on it, liking and sharing those, and boosting the algorithm so that more people are able to see these videos, man, is extremely important, so that our people can start coming out of the condition and position that we are in, that we shouldn't be in the first place. You understand? A lot of, not even a lot, all of our mistakes that we are making as a nation, the way that they will be fixed is through edification. And that edification is the edification that comes from the Most High God. You understand? Giving them the knowledge of the Most High God. You understand? So then that way they will turn away and separate from these other nations. You understand? All right. So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, verse 18. All right. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. 19. Let her be as the loving hind and pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and thou ravish always with her love. Verse 20. And why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman, and embrace the bosom of a stranger. You understand? Man, Proverbs, man, it's some heavy ass material in Proverbs, man. Right? This right here, starting off with verse 18 and 19, and it's just go love your woman, ravish her love, and be bathed in her love. Man, love her breastises. You understand? And prefer her breastises. Like, so man, my one, man, I don't care. We've been together 2 years now, I think it was. Every time that, she go to get in the shower or whatever, she get up to go to bed, she walk by me. I look at her like it's the first doggone time. I'm looking at that booty. I'm looking at them boobies. I'm looking at her. You understand? And that's exactly what you should always do, Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman. Is, mind you, she from the tribe of Issachar, so-called Mexican, because I prefer my own. You understand? And you see with, and I express that with, how I look at her when whenever she goes by, and of course the other things that we do together, right? That's what you should be doing, Black, Hispanic, First Nation man or woman. And that's also say woman, because you need to do the same thing to your man. Look at him the same exact way. You understand? Love him like that. You understand? We need that for each other, not just one-sided. You understand? Verse 20. And why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman and embrace the bosom of a stranger? Like, why would you want that with a stranger? You understand? Because these nations, it don't matter how well you get to know Becky, she can actually, maybe for once in her life, tell the truth and tell you, her entire life story. Let's just say by some miracle that a white person tells the truth, right? Tells you her whole life story. She's still a stranger in both contexts. You understand? She's a stranger because she's from a different land, she's from a different nation, she's from a different people, but she's also still a stranger because you don't know her. You don't know her because you are not of her people. You understand? You know your people. You just need to get to know a sister, but ultimately, you from the tribe of Judah, you're a so-called Negro. Oh, yeah, I know how you get down. I just need to, learn who you are. You understand what I'm saying? So why would you want to be with a stranger that will never understand you, Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman? They will never be able to understand you. Because you know what? They will never go, hold on. Until Christ returns, they will never go through the same oppression, the same things that you as a Black, Hispanic, First Nation man and woman have gone through. You understand? In this oppression, in this world, on this earth. You understand? No, there's an issue with the connection with the Wi-Fi. It keeps telling me. Yeah, there's a connection issue. The water though, sis. You understand? All right, so now we're gonna drop that. We're gonna get to our last scripture. We're gonna go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 21 and verse 14. The book of Leviticus, chapter 21, verse 14. I'm chapter 14. 21 to 14. Here we go. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 21, verse 14. A widow or a divorced woman or a profane or an harlot, these shall ye not take, but he shall take a virgin of his own people to wife. You understand? So you shouldn't want to marry a widow, a divorced woman, or a profane woman, or a harlot, a whore, right? These aren't women that you should take. as a priest. You understand? Verse 15. Oh, so like, but he shall take a virgin of his own people to wife. So you should take a woman that is of meritable age of your own people as a wife. You understand? Someone who is now, hasn't known a man yet, right? Verse 15. Neither shall he profane his seed among his people, for I, the Lord, do sanctify him. Right? Okay, no, that's it. That's it on that. So one thing that you also got to take into consideration, like harlot, man, these other nations are whores. Those women are whores. You understand? The reason why our women act the way that they do, as whores and whatnot, is because basically the white woman made it okay, seem like it is okay to have, to be gangbanged, or be gangbanged and having trains ran on, and having all multiple men being strippers and just being a whore, being a harlot. You understand? These other nations made that okay. We didn't. We're not the ones who started doing it and they copied. No, we were shown that's the only, hell, in this world, it's the only way we can actually get by. That our women can actually get by is by selling their bodies. You understand? And of course, the white man really pushed that whole independent, black woman thing. It's them that is making us separate. It's them that is making us bump heads and being at odds with our own people. You understand? So that's it on that. Just remember, y'all, we are, up until Las Vegas time, Las Vegas sunset time is 6:19 p.m. or 18:19 tomorrow evening. You understand? Until then, you are not to eat any food or water. This is a time to be afflicting your soul for the sins that you had committed throughout the year. And of course, those of y'all that are in the ISUPK, it's not about your sins. It's also about you have no sins, but you're afflicting your soul for those brothers and sisters that aren't able to do it for themselves. But ultimately, we're doing it for our nation. You understand? We're doing it all together as one for our people. For the ones that are doing it, or that aren't able to do it. You understand? So yeah, hey, we're all going through this, together. That brotherhood is important, man. Don't think that you even struggling by yourself with, the Day of Atonement. You understand? Like it's supposed to be you're afflicting your soul. It's supposed to hurt a little bit, but guess what? You'll be all right. You understand? It's just a couple more hours. You'll be able to stuff your face with whatever the hell you was going to eat anyways. Drink what you was going to drink. You understand? Just a couple more hours. You understand? With that, I am Priest and Officer 500 Iraq. This is the ISUPK side of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Juliana. This was the Tuesday Brotherhood class out here in Las Vegas. You understand? Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube page, ISUPK Nevada. Make sure you hit that little bell button so that you can be get notifications for any time that we have we upload our videos and whatnot. Also, make sure that you go onto our Facebook page, ISUPK Las Vegas. Thumbs up that Facebook page. You understand? We also upload our pictures and videos on there. And make sure y'all pay your tithes, ISUPK.com. You understand? And with that, shalom.